Hello and welcome to the Special Moves podcast. This is episode 58. I'm wearing a scarf. My name is Mike Williams. Jake's wearing a chef hat.
Hey gamers.
Liam is wearing a very nice Pokemon t-shirt, but you can't see it.
Can't see it because my jacket
Can't have everything, can you?
What are you going to do about that? Nothing.
Yeah.
This is our weekly gaming podcast where we talk about video games, and we've also got a bonus podcast for our patrons. If you're a Patreon supporter, we've got one coming up very, very soon.
This week again. So you had one last week, and now you get another one this week. So
that'll be about not gaming things, movies and TV shows, boxing. Jay likes a bit of boxing.
have I got free reign? Have I to talk about that this week?
Cookery. Find out more about
podcast.
Should we like paywall the fucking the chef's hat? You want to find out about the chef's hat?
If you're part of the audio master race that can't see the chef's hat, it is real.
Yeah.
And go on our Twitter to find out more why I'm wearing it, because there is a reason I'm wearing it. And it's something great, actually. It's a nice reason.
Yeah, nothing for you, like just nice for us.
Yeah. It's Fashion Souls. I've been playing Dark Souls 3 again, so I'm wearing big hat. You know what I mean?
You've been playing a bit of Dark Souls, then, mate?
Yeah, so I started the Dark Souls World Cup 2019 edition.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to go for the plats. So I started on Dark Souls 3 because that's apparently not the hardest one, but it takes the longest amount of time because there's a lot of like online stuff that you've got to do. Like you've got to farm like the Blue Sentinels and things like that. So I'm having a great old time. Like you need to do New Game Plus to get the full plat, and I am just about to go for Pontiff. I've died about 3 times this run. I'm absolutely bossing it. I'm so chuffed of like the feeling of revisiting a Souls game. It's so exciting because like it's a game that you were so intimidated by the first time, and then you come into it and you make a mincemeat out of it. I'm playing a warrior, which is like I play strength normally anyway, but I think I went with like the knight the first time, and I was using like I think it was like the claymore or whatever, the one that you get by the dragon at like the High Wall of Lothric. But this time I'm using like the regular starter axe, and I'm playing as this warrior. I look like a Norse Viking in the wrong game, basically running around trouncing all over everybody. I'm having a whale of a time, and like what I like about it is, so you know, the initial like awe and excitement of like fighting a boss for the first time and discovering a new area and saying, oh my god, this is gone because I've already finished it. But because I'm giving myself this like list of things to do, something that you brought up earlier, like, and you were quite right, it gives me like a new like thing to look forward to when I'm playing it. Like I need to make sure I get the quests in the right order, or else I've ruined someone else's quest line. And
you've got a new aim this time, even though you're playing through the same game again. You're trying to achieve something different instead of just finishing it.
I know, and it's annoying because it's like I don't believe in that normally. Like I wouldn't play Horizon Zero Dawn to get all the collectibles and say it was like a whole different game, but I am feeling like that with Dark Souls. A different build as well, that like, you know, and it's a minor change. I've gone from a knight to a warrior. Like I haven't even gone like pyromancer or something, but what a series of games, you know. It's because like I started playing it again for 2 reasons. One, game in a decade is something kind of a lot of websites have already put that list out of. We're going to, of course, be covering it. And I was really thinking about, like, of course, one of the Souls games is going to be in there, like, for me, easily. And I think I like 3 the most. And
I'm totally with you on that.
Yeah, and I just wanted to double check that I liked it as much as I thought I did. Because I have revisited the first and second one since, but not the third one, and then it's just hooked me. And then second, without going here, down, everywhere, I'll loop it all back in. There was a rumour that I read online from this guy who's verified leaks before, and he was right about everything he's ever posted. His post history is 100% right. And he had said last week that there was going to be a new Half Life VR game announced at the Game Awards.
Yeah.
Elden Ring will be shown off, and the release window will be about May 2020.
Elden Ring, remind us, what's that?
It's the brand new game from Software, the makers of Dark Souls, and George R.R. Martin, the guy from Game of Thrones, and it's a Souls game again.
Yeah.
Because even though Sekiro, like, they think that Sekiro isn't anything like the Dark Souls games from themselves, and Bloodborne is a departure in some aspects, but they say that this is like the closest to Dark Souls they've gone without it being Dark Souls again. So it's a proper Souls game, and it was announced initially at E3. It was at E3 on the Xbox conference.
I think so, yeah.
And they, so the big rumour was that, and I thought, whoa, this guy. And then, so I downloaded Dark Souls ready to get myself ready for the hype, you know what I like doing. And then, whoa, Valve announced that Half Life VR thing is true. So I'm like, there's going to have to be some big error for this to not happen. So I'm on full hype mode ready for the Game Awards, which I guess is the only exciting thing that's happened this week in the gaming world, in my opinion.
There's not been a huge amount. I mean, you might touched on Half-Life there. What did you think of that, guys? The old. I mean, Valve have always said they wouldn't do another Half-Life unless they could do something interesting with it.
They want to push tech forward with Half-Life.
Yeah. Turns out that means VR for them. Mm-hmm. What do you make of that?
I think it looks cool. And that little trailer, we've got a minute and a half trailer of that. Look, I think it's a prequel, they've said, set between Half-Life 1 and 2. So there's not going to be any Gordon Freeman or anything in it. But it looks interesting, and there was some really cool stuff in it, like the being able to wipe stuff off the shelves to find supplies and stuff was really cool looking.
Yeah.
And the way, I think they said, because they did an interview as well with Jeff Keighley, that got put out at the same time, and they said everything's going to have a custom interaction, so every gun is going to have, you have to manually reload it in full VR. They're going full immersive world of it, and I think it looks cool. Has it convinced me to buy a VR headset? Not quite.
Yeah, the thing is, you're gonna need more than one game, I think, before, because it's a lot of money. To,
especially if you buy the Valve Index, which is £900 for the complete headset controllers and the stations that do the room tracking.
It's a weird one because that is a big investment, but I've played HTC Vive a couple of years ago now, and I wasn't convinced about many of the VR games, but the one that was, to me, clearly better than the rest was the Valve. It's the workshop or whatever. You guys. You guys will.
They've got a Portal demo and everything in it.
Yeah, there's a Portal demo that was so polished. There's a tower defense game where the stickmen are coming towards you. That felt so advanced compared to everything else, right?
Yeah.
This was maybe 3 or 4 years ago even, and then I played HTC Vive again maybe a year and a half ago. Nothing seems as polished as that Valve thing. Valve, as far as I'm aware, and I'm sure there'll be people that own VR headsets that'll be able to tell me otherwise, but I think that's the most polished I've ever seen VR.
Yeah.
That the PlayStation VR we've recently been playing a lot because there's one here.
Yeah.
And that's got some quite cool ideas, but what I find is that's VR integration into already existing games, so Wipeout or Resident Evil 7 or whatever. But I think Valve had the most complete picture, and it felt like tech demos, but it framed it in a cheeky way. I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not. I didn't think this is really exciting when I was reading about it and looking at the the Valve thing, but that doesn't mean I'm not really interested in it. I'm definitely open to having a look at what it can. I'll pretty much definitely pick it up because there's not that many VR games, and I want to see, like you're saying, someone really have a good crack at it and put a lot of polish and a lot of time into it and move it on from it not being a party piece. A lot of the stuff that's on PSVR feels like a party piece. You put it on your own head, you have a little spin, pass it around the room.
Yeah. Feels like being at a convention, it's 20-minute tech demos and you're done. Yeah. You don't want to immerse yourself for 6 hours. And then
the other, on the opposite end of the spectrum to that is Resident Evil, where you almost can't stomach it for more than an hour, and it's and that's not because of that's not because of the game content or anything. There's just a mix of just a bit of claustrophobia, maybe just having that on your head, and the feeling of having headphones on your head for ages, and you get
it's a very grotty game, isn't it? There's a lot of
it is oppressive,
dirty in your face.
But it's a really good. That's the one game where you could play it start to finish, and it does add a lot. It adds a lot compared to the normal. It feels like a different experience when you play it in VR.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna make that work, you have to, like you say, put a lot of polish in it. It's got to feel good to be in. If you're going to play it for more than an hour at a time.
You know what, I'm laughing about something, and I hope this doesn't derail it too much, but I was thinking about that, and I thought, whenever I am in VR, I think, this is really cool, man. This is really cool. But then I don't really think about it too much afterwards. It's to me, it's being on a roller coaster or something. At the time you're loving it, but afterwards I'm not pining over it. And again, that price of entry to get in, I think the cheapest is £350 for the PSVR, maybe.
It's about 280, I think.
You can get for the PC anyway, Windows mixed reality ones or whatever they're called.
Oh yeah,
and they're a bit cheaper. But with Valve especially, they've gone out of their way to say Half-Life will support pretty much every VR headset on the market.
From the lower budget to the full room.
They've even got a system requirements page saying you'll need either an Oculus, a HTC Vive, the Valve Index, whatever.
Yeah.
So they're trying to make it accessible at least.
Yeah, and I like that they're kind of going upwards as well. So they are trying to make it so you can use it with like, these really quite unique peripherals that people are making. People are making like treadmills that they can walk around on, and I found that like that's a very interesting stuff that I see with VR is like the people like the real like tech geeks are like fucking building these things that work like with the hands but with your feet, shoes and stuff like that. So
have you seen like on the Valve controllers it can track your fingers?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So stuff like that. It's like, and that's some integration from Valve there, which is cool. But like these like homebrew kits getting support from Valve by the sounds of it with this, and I think it's really interesting.
It's the kind of thing VR, I reckon, where it's to a lot of people, it's just like eye roll stuff, and it's like, oh, yeah, I don't care. Tell me about the games.
Well, that's why I was kind of laughing a minute ago, right? Because you've said that, and just before we started this podcast, we were kind of talking about what's been going on in the week, and we've kind of said nothing, right? Google Stadia came out this week.
Yeah, I know.
That's what I just
Well, let me just read one email about Half-Life, and then we'll talk about Stadia, right? So this is an email that's come to our Dear Special Moves inbox. The address is dearspecialmoves@gmail.com. dearspecialmoves@gmail.com if you want to send us an email. This one's from John in Canada. John says, Dear Special Moves, long-time fan and follower of the channel.
Hey,
over the last few days, I've experienced the emotions of seeing Valve announce a sequel to what I guess I had considered to be a dead franchise, which is a big point. Half-Life basically has been a dead franchise for a lot.
People are kind of at peace with the fact that the third one's not coming yet.
That's a very nice way of putting it, man.
Yeah.
I had planned on buying a Switch at some point along with a few of the premium tiered games that have come out for it, but with Half-Life's announcement, I feel I'm fully on board the build a PC train. The only issue I'm having, I haven't got a fucking clue where to start. I've also never really tried VR aside from a few turns at my brother's Oculus when he's home from holidays. I figure I have the better part of the next month to try and acclimatise myself while I try and build a decent rig and obviously figure out just what the hell it is I'm doing. I like the fact that someone is basically sold on the entire premise to the extent that they're going to need a PC
and then VR.
And B, need the VR headset, and that's that's from warmest regards, John. That's from John in Canada. I like the fact that he's just come into this with like. I've seen that. That looks like a good game. What do I need? Right. Oh, I need a gaming PC. Okay, all right. I'll get on the gaming PC. I need a VR headset as well.
John's got a job.
But look at that as like a barrier to entry.
There's two hurdles there. Two massive hurdles.
Exactly.
Building a gaming rig. It's like one of those things that, like, when you finally built a PC or you've got a gaming PC, like, you're in. Like, you're in. Like, you hear about it and it seems daunting and stuff, but if, John, you do it, then you'll be happy for it. Just make sure you don't go around the internet telling everybody about it because it's boring. Yeah. But then the VR thing, which is like, that's expensive as well.
It's a lot of money.
Tell you what though, John, and I hope if you're listening to this, you've not made any like fancy purchases just yet. Remember, it's Black Friday this week, right? Yeah. That's the best. Yeah. And then what's this Cyber Monday thing? What's this now?
Yeah.
What's all this? What's this Cyber Monday?
Sales they got? Is that on Amazon? Is it?
But that's if you're gonna build a game rig, I would say this is the best time to build one.
Yeah,
for sure.
And absolutely. I think the point of having to bring people like John into the fold there is like the competition for your money. He's thinking of getting a Switch. The Switch's a fucking banging gaming system, and now he's having
he's spending triple basically.
Yeah, but he's having to make that call there. Like, am I going to have a really nice handheld hybrid docked console that which is a really good console?
Yeah,
and he's having to turn that down because there's a lot of competition for your money, which is really good. If you're into video games and stuff. But I just thought it was really interesting that he's like. He's sold on the idea, and he's going, I'm going to need 2 sets of hardware. It's just something
and building one's complicated as well, because let's say you wanted to play like fucking Breath of the Wild. Yeah. You could just buy a bundle. Switch bundle, Breath of the Wild, boom, done.
Which is what he's going to do. That's what he was.
Yeah, exactly. Now it's like, he probably knows that if you buy like a pre-made PC, some of them are pretty good deals, I guess, but like there's always going to be some markup. You might as well make one yourself. So it's a complicated purchase. So yeah, there's lots of opportunity there for the buyer the consumer to go, nah mate, actually this is bollocks. John's in it for Half-Life though, man. So shouts out to John. And
he wanted to know what we thought of it. We've already sort of discussed it, I guess, but I think for me, I'm looking forward to seeing what how it turns out. But as with any game, pretty much for me at this point, I don't really get excited for stuff until like the week it comes out. Do you know what I mean? So it's gonna be, this is gonna be no different.
I won't play this, because I don't have VR, and it's an awkward game as well, because it's not like one of those games that you can play for 20 minutes and get the gist of it. If this is the full game experience, it's a bit awkward to go around your mate's house and play it for 8 hours. Do you see what I'm saying? So like that, it's for the primary game owners rather than something like Wipeout, where you can play it at your mate's house, get the feel for it, and say I've played it.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I guess I'll give it a miss. I'm not massive on Valve stuff anyway, but like I know that they're going to do a good job of it. To be honest,
I'm to be fair, I'm the same. I'm very fortunate to be working for a company that develops VR software and VR games and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, hence this is a massive coincidence.
We're
I'm wearing an Oculus.
I got a Mixer t-shirt on, and he's got Oculus for anyone who can't see us. But they've stabbed themselves in the eye with a branch. or because they're
excellent throwback. Yeah. But so I can get access to the hardware if I want to try this sort of thing out. But I probably would be like you otherwise. It's like what is it, 400-500 quid?
I don't know what I would buy VR for.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a question. Like, you know what I mean?
But this needs. I mean, No Man's Sky is. I had to get my hands on that, and I had to ask my mate in work if I could borrow this PlayStation VR and all this, and he was very kind and let me. And so I've played No Man's Sky in VR now, and that was really the first time I was like, holy shit, I need to play this and see what it's like.
Yeah.
And, hopefully this will be the same thing. Hopefully this will give me that set. And the signs are there, like in the trailer and stuff, like you're talking about the way that you're. The detail of the interactions that you can do,
like moving stuff on the shelf, like
exactly.
It is looking cool.
That kind of thing, I could see that being good. That's a good positive sign for me. But for now, I'm just gonna have to wait and see how it goes, really. So yeah, Google Stadia anyway. Is it unfair to say it's been an absolute disaster? Because I'm looking at it from the outside, having not read a huge amount. Just basically, I've got the headline view of it. Do you know what I mean? I've read the headlines, but not the articles.
Yeah, and I feel like the headlines would have torn into it if it was terrible.
That's true. Yeah.
If Eurogamer would have made a headline about it if it was terrible, and Eurogamer would have, and every gaming media website would have made an article if it was great.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing more exciting working in the games industry than an innovation that's great. Remember that everyone wants to like games, right? So the fact you've seen neither here nor there for the majority, I think Patrick Klepek put out a bit of a hit piece on Vice, I think, for it, because it was shit for him. He was trying to play it like in cafe Wi-Fi and like through using his neighbour's Wi-Fi, and he was using it in all those different ways, and it was complete shit. So I'm not really.
Well, I saw. I may be wrong, but it was Digital Foundry or one of the guys from Digital Foundry on Twitter. I think it was them anyway, and sort of listing like, this thing's good, but then like it was something like, I'm surprised with how good it actually it looks, the resolution holds up and stuff, but then the latency is pretty bad. I think they were playing Destiny or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was just like a tweet that just sort of bullet pointed a few things, and
they did like a test which showed it was adding like another, basically doubling the latency of like what was inherently in the game to begin with.
Yeah.
Which, Destiny's a bit of a treacle style shooter. It's a very smooth game, but it's not like a snappy Call of Duty where everything's really quick.
Yeah.
But even in Destiny, you do need it to be immediate. Like
I watched a streamer on Mix doing it. So he was streaming so that's taking up bandwidth, and he was using Stadia.
Okay.
And to be fair, like he lives in Yorkshire, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was and that doesn't mean anything to anyone not in the UK, but just so you know, it's not a major city, like it's not a big hub of technology in Yorkshire, okay, which is funny if you're from Yorkshire, but it's not, is it? And so he's from just outside Yorkshire, so he's just got some pretty rural connection. It was streaming fine. It was a bit laggy, and I think he got sent it by Google because he was being a little bit too. Like, I know him, and he's not normally like that. He's a little bit like, oh, no, it's fine. And it was a bit...
Right.
There's a part where he had to do a double jump, and his second jump input didn't work because it was during the downtime, so he just fell to his death. And that is all you need to know, really,
about...
Like, that is everybody's fears about Stadia.
Yeah.
But they did other things as well where the games weren't actually running like they claimed they would as well. They kept saying 4K max settings, 60 frames per second. I think it was Destiny turns out was only running at like 1080p on medium settings.
Well, hang on, they were saying that you play this game right now and it'll run at 4K.
Yeah.
But that's not a factory.
So this was Digital Foundry again. Yeah. They found out Destiny 2 was actually, because Bungie told them, said it was running at 1080, being upscaled to 4K, and it was like medium settings. Yeah. So technically it looks better on an Xbox.
Yeah, they are being outed a lot by the companies.
Red Dead 2, which was meant to be like the tentpole one, which is already having a tough time on PC anyway.
Yeah,
people struggling to get it running smoothly.
The actual port of that game sort of thing.
It's like it's very tough to even get it running smoothly anyway on like a local machine. Turns out that was only like 1440p on medium settings and then being upscaled to 4K.
Which to be fair though, is one example though where I think like a lot of people's PC couldn't run it like that. I don't think that's the one time Google Stadia is probably better for it than, because like I've seen articles about it can't physically run right, like on its best settings. Like not many computers can run it on the best settings anyway because they've made it for the future or whatever. But like with Red Dead at 1440, like I don't know, I don't think that's too bad to be fair, but it's not what they said, which is the important thing.
Yeah.
I think people are more getting annoyed because on Xbox One X, Red Dead runs at an actual like native 4K.
Oh, okay, well, fuck, okay,
and
right.
Stadia is massively more powerful than an Xbox One X.
Yeah.
It's been a bit.
So that's why people are a bit like, hold on, you sold us a bit of snake oil here.
I tried to get Google Stadia, so my day job, I'm working on Darksiders Genesis with THQ, which is coming out on Google Stadia on launch day. So I was like, I test the game first, like to see what's going on, and I wanted to test Google Stadia version. Mm-hmm. They're not doing review codes for any games. That's a fact now. That's going to be in the news all day. That's official. But so there's journalists. It's not going to be good for them, is it, Stadia? So that's something that might be a bit of an insight to people, and they aren't biting. I just wanted to try it. I just wanted to, know, but until launch day, not even I can play it.
Yeah. So because you can't even use the free version yet, can you? It's not coming till next year.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Like, if you want to play it now, you had to have been one of the Founders Edition pre-orders.
And a lot of them still haven't got their copy. Which
a lot of them still haven't been shipped, and the Chromecasts that shipped with them are overheating.
So
I don't understand how our company that big can
fuck up this much.
Yeah.
Isn't the guy behind it the guy that did the PS3?
Phil Harrison? Is that what he's called? The executive?
Yeah. So
is it
something there?
PS3.
And he did one other massive thing.
He worked for Microsoft at one point as well.
He did. He's the guy behind the original E3 plan of the Xbox One as well.
Really?
Right.
That big thing. When you look at the guy doing it, I don't want to be too much of a
he loves his cloud gaming,
but he's always been thinking of this idea, and he did one other thing in between the Xbox and Stadia. Yeah, check it out. But yeah, I reckon this time next year, I reckon it'll be like a all-you-can-eat subscription model for Stadia.
It's got to be.
And it'll be 15 quid a month.
They've got to take some stuff back to the drawing board, haven't they?
Yeah. The whole idea of buying a game, to access it.
Buying a game to stream it, and then if you actually want to stream it at the best quality, you need to pay a subscription.
I think that people have been saying that they don't think that the game license owners, so like Warner Bros. Is it Warner Bros. That own Tomb Raider? I can't remember. But like
Square Enix.
It's Square Enix, isn't it? Of course. And like Bungie for Destiny and stuff. Like, what will they say about their games being free, like on the Game Pass thing? And I'm thinking, like, you don't understand what Google can offer these people. Like, not just money, but like they can offer them private data that you can only get if you work with Google.
Massive resources.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff like. Knowing the exact demographic of who watches your trailers, which characters females search for after they've seen your trailers, things like that are incredibly useful for like marketing people, what Google can offer them. So I reckon that like they won't have an issue. They're like Disney. They're not going to have an issue getting licenses for these games on an all-you-can-eat, all-you-can-watch, all-you-can-stream subscription service. I think that that's the way it's got to go.
Yeah.
But I wonder, because it'll probably be audio listeners because they're the majority of the people that check our podcast out. But is anybody watching or listening to this got Stadia yet? Because I have seen a couple of people I know with it. If so, why don't you let us know what it's like and whereabouts you live? Because like, I don't know, like I'm not even seeing many articles about it other than like stuff like Digital Foundry or.
It feels like the amount of conversation I'm seeing. It feels like it's just, unless some massive radical updates and changes start happening immediately, the conversation is just going to vanish. Basically, is what it feels.
I wonder
like.
who wants it for Christmas, sort of thing. You know,
Well,
it's
yeah,
a very real question. You know.
That'll be a disappointing Christmas day if you get your Founders Edition and then your internet connection's not good enough.
How do you unwrap Stadia? Because the Founders Edition doesn't arrive; it's invisible, isn't it? You know, just write it on the Christmas card.
I suppose
I've
if you
got
get
your
the
Stadia.
controller or whatever.
Yeah, I get a hot Chromecast.
Or a hot Chromecast,
Yeah, I don't know. So I guess we touched on Stadia then, which is
Yeah.
more than a lot of people have.
Yeah, well, exactly.
It seems to be just forgotten about now.
I honestly, until Mike mentioned VR earlier, I forgot. And it's a conversation that's happening a lot at the moment because it just starts at us. So I'm laughing about that, and I hope it goes well, but I don't know.
I mean, I really find it difficult to see which way it's going to go, because if the company, if they did want to keep it afloat and really make something of it, they obviously have got the resources to make it good.
Yeah.
But
it's Google. This is the thing, isn't it? It's like Google are rich as fuck, and they're rich as fuck because they do take things behind the shed and shoot it when it goes wrong.
Yeah.
Right?
Famously kill stuff off if it doesn't work immediately.
Exactly. Like, what was their fucking Facebook called? Google Circles?
Google Plus.
Google Plus.
There's a website called Google Graveyard, and if you go on it, it's got logos of everything Google had, but they've just abandoned it.
This is it. So this is that. I think that's the scary thing about this. Because if any company could make it work, it's going to be that. But then have you heard about this thing as well? Not to be too much of a rumour peddler, this podcast, because I think half the things I've been saying are like, oh, have you heard this rumour?
Yeah, go on.
Amazon pushing into this thing.
Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah,
Amazon have done a lot in gaming, I think, recently. Like,
Yeah.
And Twitch is like their big thing, and their game studios.
Got their own game engine.
Yeah, exactly that. So it's like I was at an event like last weekend with some of the developers of this new game that they've got on Crucible or whatever, and like the way that they're talking about it, it's like Amazon are proper into it, and you don't really hear that much about Amazon. You just hear about how all the people are sweating in their warehouses, wishing they were dead. So like, I'm glad that they're really pushing this gaming thing forward.
Yeah. Well, did you hear about xCloud as well? If you have Game Pass Ultimate, they'll bundle it in with you. So and you'd get access to the Game Pass library.
So
on your xCloud
is the Microsoft equivalent of Stadia, and
which I have never heard of.
So, again, it doesn't exist, so it's a weird thing. And it's kind of always been a bolt-on to all these E3 presentations.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's talk about xCloud. The next, this XO19 a couple of weeks ago, it was mentioned. But I've seen more of that than Stadia this week. People playing their Xbox games on their phone and stuff like that, which... I played Metal Gear Solid 5 on my phone a lot when it was... like when Ellie was watching.
Remember you saying this before?
Yeah, Peppa Pig or whatever a couple of years ago. She had the telly.
Is it remote play?
Yeah,
Is that what it's called?
I don't know if you need a Sony phone for it or whatever.
Yeah, I think you needed like a Sony.
And that was over the
Xperia
Wi-Fi
or whatever. You know.
Yeah, that's it. And I've got an Xperia.
I used to have a Sony phone, and you could pair a DualShock 4 with it.
Yeah,
and just play mobile games if you wanted.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I played GTA Vice City, the mobile port.
Oh yeah,
with the controller.
Well, so I was playing legit like. And it's funny to see that people are playing like The Witcher 3 or whatever on their Xbox on their phone and thinking that's what I was doing years ago. But now it's all through the cloud.
Yeah.
It's a weird conversation, isn't it? It's still years away. It just feels like it still doesn't feel real.
Yeah, and I also think there's just there's a lot of players involved, and it's not like it's not the same. I think Xbox, if Xbox did their xCloud thing and did it. I don't know. I feel like Google Stadia, because they're like a new player and they're coming into the arena kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then Amazon are doing it as well, and it's like Amazon. I think Amazon are very good at communicating the bundles and the offers that they've got, like the Twitch. And if you're an Amazon Prime subscriber, you get Nintendo.
Switch. You get Nintendo Switch Online for a year for free if you've got Amazon
free
Prime.
games a month as well.
Yeah, you get 2 or 3. You get skins for all these sorts of games. But
I think their communication about that sort of stuff isn't very good, to be honest. I don't think that reaches very far outside of the circle of people who have follow a lot of people on Twitter that are gaming people and check gaming Reddit.
Twitch a lot,
use Twitch a lot.
It's through one little icon on Twitch. You click, it's like your rewards every week, and that's what it is. And then like some of them roll over till yearly.
But that's just as an offer. That's a great offer. But
they don't even send an email. Do you know what I mean? I know what you mean. Like Amazon .co.uk is always sending me emails. Oh, you bought this, review it. And I wonder if that's more the vendors or whatever. But it's like,
Amazon's emails are like, you hovered over blenders. You were almost about to click on
buy this
blending.
Heston Blumenthal coffee machine for $7,000.
Yeah. They're very excited about telling you about coffee machines and blenders and stuff.
But why not their free games?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting topic, I think. But yeah,
a look into the future of cloud gaming, which could have been plucked from a podcast from 2014.
Yeah,
and it's exactly the same conversation.
We've been talking about VR and
and how they just need a bit more friction.
Yeah.
They need a little bit more of a way forward. This is exactly the same conversation that happened when they announced Final Fantasy VII.
There's about 1,000 people on YouTube going, talk about Star Wars, talk about The Witcher 3 or something. It's like waiting for us to get onto them third-person action adventure games, isn't it?
Thanks for your patience.
Let's do one more email quickly.
Yeah.
This one is from Ollie, listening from Surrey. Nice one, Ollie. Dear Special Moves, just want to say I've been listening for a few months and really enjoying the pod for the most part. Think there's a good synergy between the three of you, and it really pays to do it together in person. Thanks, Ollie. We agree.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Firstly,
what's this for the most part, though? Is he gonna
I know, yeah.
Is he going to address this, Ollie, or what? Is it when we slag off people from Guildford and shit like that? It's too close to home, does it?
Firstly, what has been your biggest disappointment of this gen? For me, it's absolutely Crackdown 3. Given all its delays, the final output was woefully short of the mark. Everything it does well, Sunset Overdrive does better, and some weapons, traversal, chaos, customization. It's a shame more people didn't pick it up. Keep up the good work, Ollie.
Thanks, Ollie.
Cheers, Ollie.
It's nice to see another.
Thanks, Ollie. That was a great email for the most part.
Overdrive.
Yeah, Sunset Overdrive. I haven't played it.
Of that game.
You've played it, haven't you?
I've played it twice.
You haven't played it.
I looked at pictures of it, and just like every other Xbox Studios original, I just went, "Oh right, let's see if people talk about that next month." They didn't.
Yeah,
you know.
But Liam, you're a big fan, weren't you? What was
fan.
it? Pretty similar to Crackdown, wasn't it?
Yeah, bit like it was a bit of Crackdown third-person shooting with a bit of what was that game?
Jet Set.
That's it. Bit of Jet Set Radio, like rail grinding around sea. Bit of a punk rock aesthetic to it. I just really like it, and it's got the usual Insomniac sense of humour and like tight gameplay.
Bloody good studio Insomniac, aren't they?
It's just like it was great, but because it was an Xbox One exclusive originally, not many people played it.
Yeah.
Eventually, it got ported to the PC. Some more people played it, but it's still not taken off really.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably nature of the platform in a weird way, isn't it? I imagine if it was
a PlayStation exclusive.
Yeah, to be honest, or even a Nintendo, it would.
Well, Insomniac are owned by Sony now.
Yeah, they are. Yeah,
and they're a really good studio, but I think maybe also maybe a matter of timing. Like maybe if it came to the Xbox a bit later on, it came out during a time where Xbox wasn't really. Yeah, it wasn't the most exciting time for Xbox.
If it was a Game Pass game, it probably would have.
It's on Game Pass.
Boomed. It is now. Yeah, but I mean, if it was like a brand new, fresh, if that and Crackdown 3 swap places, I reckon both games would have done a lot better.
Exactly.
Because Crackdown 3 wouldn't have had like that years more of wait. Still would have had years of wait, but still.
And it would have been a decent game at the time, which they needed.
Exactly, yeah. And then
so Crackdown 3 was really disappointing for Ollie there. What most disappointing games? I think
it's hard for me to think about stuff.
I forget what I'm disappointed by.
That's what I mean.
I do think I've got one.
Go on.
Metal Gear Solid 5, actually.
Oh,
yeah. Okay. Yeah, you didn't.
Just because the gameplay is great, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It plays fantastically. It's a great sandbox. It was the story that disappointed me, because that's what I love Metal Gear for, the wild stories.
Yeah.
And then there was just like no story in Metal Gear Solid 5. And when the story did get going, credits.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, well.
It's a very story-heavy, like, opening act, wasn't it? Amazing.
Yeah. And I loved that. I know a lot of people hated it.
No,
I
wanted more giant fire whales.
Yeah. It was like completely sort of odds with the rest of the game. And like 4 ramped up, and it had about 9,000 epilogues. You had like a bit of everything, a mishmash of everything. Like it has like more than a nod. It has a full-on throwback to the first game, first Metal Gear Solid. I mean, it goes on. I don't know where they could have gone from there. So then, when you see like Metal Gear Solid 5 started off in this batshit way, you're like, oh, cool. Well, I guess that's where they're going, like out of left field. And then you just basically like it was some brutal fucking soldier napper for the rest of the game, aren't you? You're just using a balloon to steal soldiers for the rest of the game, innit? That's all I can remember about the story.
That's like a Kojima. Imagine, it's a Kojima idea that I felt like sort of overtook and dominated the game a little bit too much. The whole recruitment thing,
Fulton system,
yeah.
But when I saw it was going to be like Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, but on the big screen in HD, I was so excited.
Yeah,
because Peace Walker still had a good story to it. Had like hand drawn comic booky cutscenes in it and everything. Yeah. Again, that was because it was a PSP game. But,
yeah.
But when Metal Gear Solid 5 just like was very threadbare with its story, and then the very shitty ending, I won't say in case people haven't finished it. It was just like, well, okay.
I think Death Stranding had better story than Metal Gear Solid 5.
I'd agree with that.
It's pretty fucking good, actually.
Well, I've not, I've not touched it since we first talked about it originally. But that's not for want of wanting to do it.
It doesn't really take 50 hours to get through.
No, it's literally I just haven't had a lot of time, and then because Star Wars has come out as well, and if I have had a bit of PlayStation time, it's like I know I can see the end of that already. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So, so I've just been focusing on that a little bit. I think picking out the most disappointing game.
Do you want me to tell you? I'll be honest with you now.
Go on.
This isn't a very, very popular opinion, but
please do. No, go on.
What are they going to do? Right.
Ooh.
And it's only because
taking a breather as well before taking a running start. Go on.
Nah, it's only because I don't normally remember like things that disappoint me, to be honest. And often I can gauge if I'm going to like a game or not, and like. I avoided Far Cry 5 and Far Cry New Dawn, and it looked like I made the right decision. Metro Exodus, I played it at a convention and avoided that. Looks like I missed out on Disappointment. The one game that I thought was going to be better than it was The Outer Worlds. That's about it. It's not disappointing. I just thought it was going to be something a bit different. Mm-hmm. I didn't like it as much as everybody else. It doesn't matter about the studio, time, the budget, whatever. I think, and I said this before there was an article about it, I was spoilt by playing Disco Elysium before I played Outer Worlds, which is one of the most insanely written RPGs ever, and if that doesn't win an award for its writing, it's a sham. Going to the Outer Worlds felt like... It's just... And I think that's what it was. I think so. It was disappointing for me, because I think that I had set myself up a bit too much. And I don't know, do you know what it was? Like, Fallout 4, which by the way was also a disappointment this generation, probably one of the biggest ones. I just wanted Skyrim again. I wanted that feeling, and I haven't got it. Maybe it's me, but then I look online and I feel validated. Nah, it's not me. It's them who are wrong.
Yeah.
But maybe I'd say that then. Fallout 4, November 10th, 2015, heartbreaking day for many.
I think that sits because with Outer Worlds it's a recent one as well, isn't it? So it's a bit like
but that's actually I've springboarded past that. Figure out. Mate. We'll go
Fallout 4. And I totally just. Side note, I totally know what you mean with the Outer Worlds. That was probably one of my things I didn't enjoy the most, was like the writing just felt a bit like... I found it a bit like jarring, that the writing just seemed flat, and then you go online and everyone's praising the writing, hammy.
And I was like,
it's a
bit panto for me, boys.
Who's doing that? I've not read anyone praising the writing.
Do you see our comments?
What forums are you reading,
mate? Videos, mate? Oh, fucking hell. I was like, I couldn't believe it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
Hey, shouts out you guys though. But yeah, like, and that's just one thing. But Fallout 4, maybe it's because like New Vegas was good. Fallout 3 was where my heart is, and then it was Skyrim was the game before that, which is aged like a fine wine, if you ask me. It hasn't had a chance to age because they keep mass producing the shit.
Yeah, I think when I go back to Skyrim now, it's not quite as magical as it was.
No. But how many times have you played it, though?
That's the problem.
You know what I mean?
But I can't say it's aged like a fine wine.
It's your 7th helping.
Because, there are many games... Well, there's plenty of games I've played Battlefield Middle-earth 2, for example. That has aged like a fine wine, okay? That's fucking...
Yeah, that's hard to fucking get hold of as a fine wine.
Exactly.
Bordeaux 1800s.
Fine as fuck, mate. Yeah. It's a masterwork, that, yeah? But I don't know. But I'm not... I absolutely love Skyrim, I'm not saying.
Yeah.
For me, I think my biggest disappointment... But it's weird because I don't get, like I was saying before, I've said loads of times, I don't get really excited about stuff until it comes out. And that largely is based on how it's reviewing. So if these guys are saying it's amazing, reviews are saying it's amazing, then I'm like, yes, fucking bring it on. But I don't usually get like very, very excited about games very early on. So it's hard for me to say, I was really anticipating for a game to be really well and then I was disappointed. But the closest I can think of is Mass Effect Andromeda on paper because of who BioWare are, even though it wasn't, the same exact studio and stuff.
BioWare
Yeah, and Mass Effect as a series, I absolutely fucking love. Mass Effect trilogy, absolutely love it. I even love the third one. I don't care what anyone says about the ending.
Yeah, okay.
Just don't give a shit, mate. It was amazing. It was class, and it was in the same way that Star Wars is an original cinematic IP, and it exists in cinema like first, and that's one of the things that I really love about Star Wars is it's completely original. The same's true for Mass Effect as a game, right? It's not based on
adapted.
Based on a movie. It's not based on a novel. It's just its own thing.
Yep.
And it's fucking amazing. So Mass Effect Andromeda, with the guy saying, "I think it's because I shot him in the face," and all that sort of dialogue, and
or just the faces in general.
The faces in general, excellent.
A bullet might have fixed it. Do you know what I mean?
And trying to, trying to make things feel open and when they just don't need to be, and trying to give you, trying to do things that just didn't need to be done, and it just felt like so flat and so.
The result of 50 boardroom meetings.
Yeah, it felt like
international Skype calls. You know what I mean? It felt like meddling.
It did. It felt like an underwhelming Netflix series based on a very exciting movie franchise.
I think that was like EA's worst year this gen. Like,
it might have been, yeah.
They really
They're
fucked
clawing
up.
it back now.
They are
really
clawing
doing
it. No, they are. They
Even
are.
Need for Speed Heat's getting some good praise.
Need for
Excellent.
Speed Heat,
which is weird to say for
new
Need
Star
for
Wars. They've had the
Star
Apex
Wars,
Legends
Respawn are playing a blinder. Battlefield 5 is absolute fucking mint. Battlefield 5 is great.
EA have had a good year this year.
Yeah.
And I think like the big
Totally
sports bollocks is like 2K fucked up with whatever it is, NBA.
NBA, WWE.
I think sports games are having a bit of an identity crisis at the moment. I think they're in general they're like
FIFA's not had too much of a rough time this year.
FIFA's been fine.
The outrage has been the 2K shit. So EA, I'm interested to see what they're doing because I'll tell you what about EA. Their games normally, apart from Andromeda, they do look pretty gorgeous.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And I've remembered.
Well, Andromeda looked amazing.
We forgot about Anthem, but let's all forget about that collectively.
Well, rumour is they're overhauling it, isn't it?
But yeah, that's true. But Anthem again, as I was saying, I wasn't excited about it. I was just thinking.
I think that's a lot of people's most disappointing.
Probably
a lot of people bought into that trailer that they showed off. It looked gorgeous, and it was first person, and then there was the jetpacks. I think a lot of people bought into that.
I thought Anthem was just okay.
Yeah,
I don't.
It wasn't disappointing. It was exactly what I expected it to be.
It was disappointing for me, but I wasn't even that excited. And it was. I think they completely got it wrong with where Destiny does the old you're a first person shooter, but if in the social area you can see your character.
Yeah,
they were like flip it,
and that's the worst.
And there's no
Why
one else
would you
in
do
that
that?
area apart
There's
from
no.
you.
It's not even it's not even a social area. It's just like
you and 7 NPCs that are T-posing.
And it's just a lack of understanding where Bungie they're just like whatever you say about them, they're very very good at making a little loop, a game loop, and they know exactly the best way of making any half an hour of a game feel great, right?
Yeah.
It's just the overall picture that people didn't like of
probably as well, very very mundane. But I would say that if we ever get an email saying what's the best matchmaking lobby of the generation,
Destiny.
It's Destiny.
That's it. Yeah, we need to do some awards show or something just so we can give Destiny an award for being
smooth we've ever played.
The best party system in a game ever. Like.
Yeah, true.
But then Anthem just did the basics wrong. Just for I feel like it is for the sake of being different to Destiny, rather than just people accusing them of copycatting. Well, maybe you should have copied that one because it's like they did it for a reason. Anyway, rambling. We had a look at new releases this week, and it's not the most exciting lineup. There's a few little things coming out on Nintendo eShop and stuff, but
they're all ports of games that have been around for 7 years.
So let's talk about Christmas instead. Christmas is not too far around the corner now, is it?
No, our next podcast be in December? Ooh.
It will be. Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just about, I think.
It will. That's cool. So,
what are we doing over Christmas, boys? What games are you going to be?
So I usually play a JRPG over Christmas. I'm currently trying to pick one to play, and I'm stuck.
Between Dragon Quest 9S or Kingdom Hearts 1.57 Remix or whatever.
More than that.
Is it? Yeah.
I'm trying to set it to either Octopath Traveler, Grandia HD.
These are all very short titles, Liam. I'm
I know.
disappointed.
Xenoblade Chronicles 2, because I've not finished that, despite having it for like 2 years.
Yeah.
I've got like 2 Star Ocean games to play.
Is Xenoblade Chronicles 2 the one that's getting Xenoblade Chronicles 1's getting redone for the Switch?
That's getting a remaster on Switch, yeah.
I guess that could be a good reason. If you're like me, anyway, that's what I always do. I'm always playing them.
You want a motivation.
I'm always the one, but I'm always the one that plays before. You know,
I've got a complicated relationship with Xenoblade though, because I always people hype them up big time, say like some of the best RPGs ever. I always play them and end up like not liking them very much.
and getting through them just to see how they end.
Just like, will it pick up? And then 60 hours later, I'm like, no, it did not. But I might go back because Xenoblade Chronicles 2, I was enjoying it, but then I think other games just came out, and like it's a long game as well. It's like an 80-hour game. Oof. And there's an expansion pack as well for it. It's meant to be better than the base game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like a completely separate
I never think about DLCs with JRPGs. I just assume that they're done. Do you know what I mean?
It doesn't happen often.
Yeah, because like, why do you need to add more to an 8-hour game? But they do it, and like,
the Final Fantasy 15 thing is threw me. I like Final Fantasy 15 a lot, and I fancy going back to it. And it's almost had the opposite effect of feeling like I'm going to miss out loads unless I buy all the fucking DLC that's come out.
The good news is, it's about like.
You can get
£4
so cheap.
The
Royal Edition.
I got the Royal Edition for £17. This is like, remember when I installed it, like June, I think it was.
Yeah.
I was thinking that might be a game I try and do over Christmas. I got 3 weeks off for Christmas this year.
There's only one DLC not included with the Royal Edition, and that's it came out like months after.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. So there is more again.
There is more, but like I think
it's that fear of missing out thing that I'm just it gets me badly. Do you know what I mean? Like, well, unless I'm getting a full.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Only with certain things. But with Final Fantasy, I think I'm going to wait until it's all over and Final Fantasy 16 is happening, and I know for fucking sure that there's not going to be any more DLC.
Oh no, like Final Fantasy 15, it's a done deal now.
Is it?
Is it? 4 years later.
The only thing coming out related to it anymore is a sequel novel.
Oh, all right. Okay, that changes things.
Which is after the events of the game. But
okay.
It's as for the game. Completely done deal now.
Okay.
Because the studio's closed.
My plans to.
Well, at least we can laugh about it, eh?
The studio.
You'll laugh or you'll cry, alright?
Well, the guy who directed Final Fantasy 15 opened his own studio.
Really?
Yeah.
He opened his own studio called Luminous Studios within Square Enix. They got shuttered, and so he's fucked off and done his own studio again, but outside of Square Enix.
I reckon he teams up with the Mistwalker boys. Bring it back.
Oh, get Sakaguchi on Final Fantasy.
That's some proper JRPG. Fucking
or just play Lost Odyssey. It's the closest you'll get at this point.
If you can.
It's a classic Final Fantasy.
Is that the one that was shut? No, it was Last Remnant that was taken away. I'll tell you what.
Still play that. That got remastered.
Fucking hell.
That's on the Switch, isn't it?
Yeah, it's on Switch.
Lost Odyssey is the one that was hard to get hold of now. They took it off some shops, right? They took
you can play it on backwards compatible Xbox.
Get down to CEX, mate. Innit?
Yeah, get a copy for like £2.
Yeah,
just make sure you've got all 4 discs.
It's actually sick that, you know. JRPGs are normally the games I try and play at Christmas, but fail miserably. So I try to. It's a Souls games. I did Nioh last year, Nioh again the year before, and Bloodborne.
Yeah.
And I'm going to try and get the plats for Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3. And it's like a work thing really, because I'm working on a new Persona game, and I haven't finished Persona 5. So it's not a game that you can just jump back into. No. So I need to start Persona 5.
I've got that. I could play that as well.
That is. But have you seen the scores for it still? It's like, I forgot how highly rated that is.
Yeah.
Like, I reckon that a lot of JRPG fans will be clamouring that that's the game of the generation for the PS.
Well, they're bringing out Persona 5 Royal, aren't they?
Yeah.
Which is the enhanced version.
Yes, exactly.
So
that's what I'm working on. So that's why I'm trying to get through Persona 5, the original one, so I can have some knowledge. But unfortunately for me,
it's a 90-hour game.
Is there anything left? Black Friday's coming up next week, isn't it? So is there anything left this year that you haven't bought that maybe you'll pick up?
Yes,
there's a few indies I think that I was keeping an eye on.
Baba Is You is the one that everyone's talking about at the moment.
That's quite a weird sort of
puzzler.
Yeah,
tiny thing. I'm gonna do this year. The only games that I think would be worth me playing that I haven't already played: Devil May Cry 5.
That's good.
It's on Game Pass.
Game Pass.
That's it. I'm on Game Pass, so I'm gonna do
That's
it on
a good
there.
one.
But that is about it for this year. I feel really happy with the games I played this year. I think this year's been good.
It's been
good, yeah.
I feel like I've played so much of stuff that like I especially with indie games and Fire Emblem, I've got good coverage that you guys haven't got there. So like I feel like I'm looking forward to our list this year of best games, and I'm looking forward to our Games of the Decade list. I'm so excited.
Games of the Decade will be good. Yeah, so we're going to do obviously some Christmas videos and that. But Games of the Decade is going to be one of them for sure, and Games of the Year. games of the decade. We're just not quite sure how. Maybe you were mentioning maybe a longer podcast might be the way of doing it.
For that one, like a video for games of the year would be simple enough. Because, but games of the decade, this like all of us could do 10. That's 30 games.
Yeah.
Even if we spent 1 minute talking about that, that's half an hour. But we're not going to spend 1 minute talking about each one of these games that we're so happy about that they're in the best games of the past 10 years. So there's got to be some sort of bumper podcast, I think, unless we're really clever.
What's really difficult is picking a top 10 games of the decade that I'm sure if we all did a list, there would definitely be a lot of overlap.
Well, we kind of have. We don't want to give it away, innit? But there was only 2 games that were in all of our games of the decade list, which I was surprised by.
Maybe we'll have to find a nice number that divides neatly into 3 that we can,
Yeah, I can pick 3 champions, 4 champions, but it's...
Well, that's the thing, that's what I'm saying, because a nice number in that, it's not too many games, but it's also not just restricting us to like 3 or 4 picks for the entire decade.
Exactly.
It's tough, isn't it? It's hard being a fucking YouTuber. We did 10 each in the
WhatsApp, right? But they were kind of just like your immediate knee-jerk thoughts, not like we didn't come back within 3 hours.
Deeply thought about.
Exactly.
Scrolling through Wikipedia pages, going, oh yeah, that was one.
Exactly. So we all had our own list that we came up with in like 20 minutes. And there was a couple that we had similarities in, but it was interesting to see how...
a lot of wildcard picks.
Yeah, Liam's was very weird, but it was good. And Mike's was a lot of strategy games, which is not surprising anybody. I was quite surprised at first how many of my games were really obvious picks. I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like the basic bitch of the
whole that's why they're obvious, isn't it? Because they're the best games of the fucking decade.
Skyrim. Can I not think of anything better?
Yeah, but that's what's difficult, isn't it? And I think when you have to pick the best games that have been out in the last 10 years, I feel that they are the ones that come to your head straight away to a certain degree. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
If they're the knee-jerk ones,
if they've elicited this reaction in me, years after. But most of mine I got spells and swords in.
That's all right, mate.
Do you know what I mean? We'll find.
Mine have got space.
But I was wondering. I don't know. Maybe we should listen. Maybe we should canvass to people. Maybe we should ignore them. So I'll ask this, and if we listen to you, we do. But don't take it personally if we don't. When do you think is a good time to put it out? Before Christmas? Games of the decade?
I've only just realised you've taken your chef hat off.
Oh, mate, yeah, it was ages ago. it was about an hour ago.
I was just looking at your head like something's changed.
I'll put it on. I'll put it on now. Again.
I feel robbed. But let's close it out with a chef hat.
Yeah, I tell you what though. Let us know what you think is going to work best. Do you think we should do it in that nice week between Christmas and New Year's, or is that when we do Game of the Year? Like, how do we do it? And also, I did see some people. We asked last week, I think, or the week before, about Game of the Decade, and we had some answers. If you've got some answers that you'd like to share with us, do it. It's nice.
Game of the Decade is a big one, so it would be as much help as we can get in remembering stuff.
Yeah, that's what's nice. It's just seeing a game and going, oh yeah. Even reading their list, I was like, fuck, how did I forget about that?
Well, Red Dead Redemption 1 is a big one for me, and that came out in 2010, so that's like right at the start, isn't it? But then that was in the decade, so it's...
just edges in.
There's a lot of things like that, so help us remember, okay? Help us help you. Help us help you again.
That is the end of the podcast. We've got a bonus podcast coming up, as we mentioned, for our patrons. If you're a patron, check that out in the coming week. It'll be about films and stuff, and the chef hat, and probably a bit more Black Friday talk, and a bit more Christmas gaming talk, and that.
Yeah, you can find us on Twitter as well for the chef hat stuff.
No Stadia, no VR. Don't worry about that. That's happened. That's been.
The future's dead already. Yeah. We're talking about right now.
Yeah, we're talking about the present, where things belong.
Present
Christmas.
Yeah.
Let's end it there. Bye.
See ya.